hydra's body is like a cylinder. Okay, hydra's body is like a cylinder. So you can divide their body into like this, into like this, into like this, into like this. This kind of organization. Okay, if this kind of organization, this condition is known as a coelomate animal condition or animal body. And another is the closed type. Closed type. Here we have a heart and we also have blood vessels too. Hello students, welcome to btosacademy. Today we will continue our lesson about the classification of living organisms and we will discuss kingdom Animalia in this class. Animals, they fascinate us. We love animals. We go to zoos, the zoological parks to see them. We go to the natural parks, the wildlife sanctuaries to observe them in the wild. But what are the different types of animals? Into how many categories can they be divided? Into how many groups they can be classified? Let's look into it. All the animals we see around us can be classified under various categories. The first category is cellular organization. Cellular organization. Okay. So we all know all animals are number one, they are eukaryotes, and number two, they are multicellular. They are eukaryotes and they are multicellular. But multicellular does not mean everyone has a tissue or every tissue is differentiated into organs and organs are organized into organ systems in each and every animal that we see. So based on cellular organization, we can classify animals into. We can also classify animals based on the type of circulatory system they have. One group of animals have an open type of circulatory system. What is the open type of circulatory system? To understand open type of circulatory system, we need to first understand what the circulatory system is. The circulatory system is a system consists of the heart and the blood vessels which pump and transport blood throughout the body. This is the circulatory system. However, this is a very schematic description. When we will study circulatory system in human physiology, we will understand more of it. But for now on, let's just keep in mind that this system is associated with the transfer and transport of blood and maintaining the flow of blood throughout the organism, and in the process transporting food, oxygen, waste to respective organs or organ systems or tissues or cells. So, one type of circulatory system is the open type. Open type of circulatory system. Open type circulation. Here we have a heart. Okay, but we do not have blood vessels. So the blood seeps into the heart through capillary action, through the grooves and bridges in the extracellular matrix or within the tissues. It reaches the heart. The heart pumps the blood, and all the tissues or the cells are directly bathed in blood. They are not transported through any kind of blood vessels. Okay. So this type of circulation we can find in various phylums such as platyhelminthes or tapeworms. We can find in roundworms. Okay. And another is the closed type. closed type. Here we have a heart and we also have blood vessels to carry the blood. And why it is known as closed? Because the blood is enclosed inside these blood vessels. So this is a closed type. For example, we have humans and earthworms. The earthworms are the first organisms in which the closed type of circulation evolved. Okay, evolved for the first time. First time in earthworms. Okay, in earthworms. So this is how we can classify animals based on the circulatory system. There is another category of classifying animals. Okay, there is another category, that is the presence or absence of notochord. The presence or absence of notochord. What is this notochord? Notochord is a tube-like hollow structure that is derived from the mesoderm that we have discussed earlier and present in the dorsal side or the upper surface of an animal during embryonic development. Okay, suppose this is an animal or the larva of an animal and this is a tube-like notochord. Okay, this is the notochord. This is the dorsal surface or the upper surface, and this is the lower surface or the ventral surface. Okay, some animals have this notochord during their larval stage or embryonic stage and throughout their lives. They are known as chordates. And animals who do not have a notochord in any stage of their life, be it the larval stage, be it the embryonic stage, be it the adult stage, be it any stage of their life, if they lack this notochord, then they are known as non-chordates. For example, insects. Okay, they do not have notochord at any stage of their life. But in chordates, something extraordinary happens. Some chordates retain this notochord throughout their life. They are known as, like, they can be again divided into hemichordates, cephalochordates, and other varieties. Okay, and some group of chordates replace this notochord through evolutionary process. Replace this notochord by a bony vertebral column. Okay, they are known as vertebrates who have replaced this notochord replaced by vertebral column. They are known as vertebrates. For example, humans are vertebrates. We have this only in the primitive stages of embryonic development, and then it is replaced by a vertebral column. Okay. The notochord actually acts as a sheath or covering for the spinal cord. And these animals are known as chordates and these are known as vertebrates. These two groups are also known as non-vertebrates. So chordates can be further divided into vertebrates and non-vertebrates. Okay. This is the spinal cord. So it acts as a sheath or covering over the spinal cord. When this is replaced by the vertebral column, the spinal cord is encased inside the bony vertebral column. Okay. Spinal cord. So these are the various modes or methods by which we can classify kingdom Animalia. All these modes, all these features, all these models are used together to classify an animal. It is not that we will classify one animal based on the presence or absence of phylum, one on the presence or absence of mesoderm or the mesoglia, one on the presence or absence of open type or closed type of circulatory system, one on the presence or absence of notochord. No, we will classify an animal based on every criteria possible all at the same time. We will create a checkbox, we will tick them one by one and see whether the animal has this structure or not. This is the most scientific method of classifying kingdom Animalia, and now we will dive into the various phylum under kingdom Animalia. First, we will look into the non-chordate group, and then we will gradually progress into the chordate group, because the non-chordates were the first animals to have evolved on the surface of Earth. Okay, so we will start discussing the kingdom Animalia, categorizing into various phylums. The first phylum is kingdom Porifera or the sponges. Tissue level means all the cells are loosely differentiated into tissues. Number two, organ level means the tissues are organized into organs. And number three, organ system level means organs performing similar kind of activities are grouped together in a particular system performing a specific physiological function. So tissue level organisms are like the cnidarians. Okay, we will look into them later. The cnidarians. Organ level, well, the platyhelminthes. Organ system level, humans. Apart from these three, there is another level of organization, that is cellular level. The most primitive of all animals, the sponges, they do not have tissues even. They have loosely aggregated mass of cells. This is called cellular level. And the cells perform various activities but not in a coordinated function as we see in the tissue level of organization. Another type in which animals can be organized is the symmetry. Okay, the symmetry. First is based on symmetry. First is asymmetric. Asymmetric. That means the body cannot be divided into two equal halves when a plane is passed through any plane of division through the body. For example, sponges. They cannot be divided into two equal halves through any plane. Okay. Second is radially symmetrical. Radial symmetry. Okay. For example, Hydra. Their body, Hydra's body is like a cylinder. Okay. Hydra's body is like a cylinder. So you can divide their body into like this, into like this, into like this, into like this. You can divide them into two equal halves through any plane passing through their body. Okay. And the third is the bilateral symmetry. The bilateral symmetry. Now, the bilateral symmetry means if an animal has a body plan like this, they can be divided into two left and right equal halves when divided through their central axis or median axis. For example, humans. A human body can be divided into perfectly two equal halves if divided along the main axis or the central axis of the body. Okay. So we also have another type of classification scheme for animals. Let's look into them. The third part of the classification scheme is based on the coelom or the body cavity. Before we go into the body cavity, let's look into what makes our body cavity or what constitutes our body, the animal body. The animal body, the animal body is made up of an outer layer called ectoderm. This is the ectoderm from which the neurons and skeletal system are formed. The inner layer or the middle layer is called the mesoderm, from which the muscles and notochord is formed, and the inner layer is known as endoderm, which forms the inner lining of the organs. So these three are altogether known as germ layers, and they first occur during gastrulation. Gastrulation, which occurs during the embryonic development of an animal. Okay. So, based on the organization of these three germ layers, we can classify animals into diploblastic or triploblastic. So, what are diploblastic animals? If a certain animal, let me draw here, if a certain animal has an ectoderm, outer ectoderm, and in between the ectoderm and the endoderm there is a layer of undifferentiated cells called mesoglia. Mesoglia, and then we have the inner endoderm. This is known as diploblastic. This is known as diploblastic. And if another animal has an outer ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm, ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm, it is called as triploblastic. Diploblastic animals are like the tapeworms, okay, and triploblastic are humans. Now coming to the part of coelom. What is the coelom? Coelom is nothing but a body cavity which is lined externally and internally by the mesoderm. So based on the presence or absence of coelom, we can categorize animals into acoelomate, meaning without coelom. We can classify animals into pseudocoelomate, meaning They appear as having a coelom, but it is not a true coelom. And coelomate, meaning having a true coelom. So let us look into it. First, if an animal has this kind of organization, okay, if this kind of organization, this condition is known as a coelomate animal condition or animal body. A coelomate condition. No coelom. Because as I said, coelom should be lined externally and internally by mesoderm. You see this cavity here is only flanked by mesoderm externally but not internally. So this is not a coelom. Okay. So this is a coelom. Now what is a true coelom? What is a true coelom? Let us see. A true coelom looks like this. This is the ectoderm. Okay. Then we have the mesoderm and then we have the endoderm. Let me draw this. Ectoderm. This is mesoderm and this here is the endoderm. Okay. So this region here is the coelom. Is the coelom or body cavity. Humans are coelomate. This condition is known as coelomate condition or coelomate animals. Okay, humans. Coelomate animals can be like tapeworms, and we also have the pseudocoelom. What is that? Pseudocoelom means it appears that the animals such as the Ascaris lumbricoid is the roundworm. Okay, the intestinal roundworm. They have a body plan like this. They have an outer ectoderm, the ectoderm, and they have an endoderm, and the mesoderm is arranged in ring-like fashion in the cavity between the ectoderm and endoderm. Okay, this is the mesoderm. This is the mesoderm, and this condition. This is the mesoderm, and this condition is known as pseudocoelomate condition. Pseudocoelomate condition, like roundworms have this kind of body plan. So this is how we can classify animals based on the presence or absence of body cavity or coelom.